Hi, I'm Darragh, I'm 24 and I'm a Star Wars fan. The first time that I saw Star Wars, I remember I was a kid and I was actually very, very sick at the time. I was about 6 years old and my parents rented a bunch of movies for me. And one of the movies that they got was the Star Wars trilogy, um, Empire and A New Hope and then Return of the Jedi. And I don't know if it was the fact that it was a fantasy world that you could just kind of hook you in, or if it was just the visuals that Lucas created, but I remember very, very clearly the very first time that I saw the X-Wings go into the Death Star, and from that moment on it was just, I was in. You can always tell a lot about people by what's in their room. And you go to some people's room and it'll be covered with Man United stuff. And that's just because it's played such a big key role in their life. For example, they probably went to football games with their parents or their older brother or something. And it'd be the same with Star Wars. It's just what has helped you grow as a person and become who you are. I think maybe it can be a bit intimidating, it can be a bit surprising, but I think if you warn somebody beforehand, or if it is somebody like your significant other, they would probably have a fair idea of what they're going to see anyway, so it's usually not that big of a deal, you know, but it's something that can be used as a stick to beat you with, but completely unfounded, because everybody has their own thing that they're into.
Oh, it's you.
This is exceptionally hard to find. It will retail for about €150 online. Probably more now. I got this for €50 at a Star Wars convention and it is just awesome. This is an action figure of Boba Fett and it's signed by Jeremy Bulloch, the guy who played Boba Fett. Yeah, this is a replica of Luke and Anakin's lightsaber from the movies. From like the second into the third one, and of course most famously in the fourth and fifth one. Yeah, it's one of the most iconic lightsabers out there, and anybody who's seen the movie will have seen this before. As I said, it cost me €200 and it's quite weighted and very, very nice indeed. Anyone who knows me will have had the conversation where I stand there for half an hour and say, here's why you need to see it, Star Wars. My girlfriend would be able to tell you this. If she hadn't have seen Star Wars, I wouldn't be dating her. It's an essential part, just because I make too many references to Star Wars for her to get it. No, I would be dating her, but she would be forced to watch Star Wars either way. I don't judge people, per se, but people should see Star Wars. Do they have any resentment towards George Lucas? I don't. I can understand why maybe people get upset about him changing movies and, you know, adding things out. People think that he, quote, raped their childhood. No, George Lucas made my childhood. They're his movies and he can kind of do what he wants with them. As you can see, there's books here, there's games. He invented a toy box that everybody can play with. He is the only director that actually allows people to toy with his movies and his whole universe. He doesn't have dictatorial control over it, but I don't feel any resentment towards George Lucas at all, in any way. Disney buying Star Wars. When I first got the news, I'm not going to lie, it's the second time in my life I went to bed at 10:30 because I was so upset by something. I was pretty disappointed. I was more upset than people would be about the prequels, because I thought, right, they're going to ruin Star Wars. And then I realised, well, you know, maybe they've been ruined beforehand. Why did Lucas sell Disney to Star Wars? Well, it makes sense. Lucas has always said that he wanted to get out of the movie making business. The good points are, well, we're going to get more Star Wars movies. They're going to make 7, 8, 9, and then they're going to make a new Star Wars movie basically until the end of time. Which is cool because it opens up the universe, you know, to maybe tell the story of Darth Bane, tell the story of Darth Revan. Talk a little bit more, because you have so much source material, so many books, so many games, that, you know, there's so much scope. The bad point, of course, is that they commercialize it until they can't get any more of it, but as you can see, Star Wars is commercialized about as much as it can be anyway. I'm not upset by it anymore. I don't think that it's a bad thing. I think at least it's safe where it will be. It will never go anywhere. And as I said earlier on, you know, Star Wars is always good. So we're going to get more Star Wars movies, and I'll get to wear my Jedi costume more. Where would I be without Star Wars? Probably a lot richer. I'd have a lot more money. Anyway, that would be true. Lucas does get a lot of any money I get, he gets about half of it, as you guys can see. There would be a void, and the void would probably be filled with something else, because it has played such a major part in my life, as far as my introduction into fantasy. It's such a vast, mind-expanding thing that it opens you up into all these cool things. So probably a bit incomplete, but a lot richer.